It's interesting being like in this subculture we're in and being parents, right? Jordan, do you have any kids?
No, not at all.
No kids. Bro, my man said, "Nope, not for me, bro."
We actually told each other back in the day, we're like, look, we can't have any kids so that we can tour to the best that we can, the most that we can.
This fucking
and
guy.
then I'm the one that has the kid.
Yeah, got that worked out. Cool. What's up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome back to the Punk Rock Review Podcast. Got very special guests today hanging out with me. Jake on the screen's right, Jordan on the left, from Rotten Stitches. Where are you guys based out of?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Dude, I almost said Atlanta, but I wasn't sure. For some reason, I thought you were out of LA, man. I was talking to you a couple of weeks ago, but regardless, dude, what's up, fellas? How you doing? Took us a while to get this figured out. Dude, I'm doing good, man. Always something, man. Got a little 3.5-year-old running around. I'm so tired, man. I worked Friday from like 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. and then I turned around and did 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. yesterday. And I'm just like so glad to be sitting down in a chair talking to somebody about something other than shit I don't care about. Dude, bro, you know how it goes, man. When you're at a regular job. Now I like my regular job, okay, but like this is what I'm more passionate about. So anyways, what's up with you fellas, man? How y'all doing?
We're doing good, man. Just released an album on Charged Records, so we're kind of just going with the flow of the momentum with that one.
Yeah, how's the reception been thus far? Has it been pretty positive?
Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah.
I don't know how many records have sold, but seems like a steady flow of people sending in pictures and videos and shit of them listening to it. So
that's good. That's all you can hope for, man. It's hard to get this stuff. It's hard to get traction in 2024 and know that that's what's happening. Unless you're like blowing up to a degree that punk bands don't typically blow up, it's hard to understand exactly what's going on. But I really like the record. I was shown your album through my Discord, I believe, and I thought it was like a very good, solid blend of like Iron Maiden-esque metal stuff with like street punk. And I mean, I was blown away. You ever heard the band Starving Wolves?
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's that direction of street punk stuff. And, you know, David Tejas, the homie, dude, like that. I was like, I mean, immediately when I listened to it, I was like, oh, this is fucking good, bro. You know, I hadn't heard of you yet. So I was really happy to listen to it, and I'm going to pick up a few copies, one for myself and a couple for my store. So, show some support as well as we can. That's awesome. So how long have you guys been a band?
We'll be 13 years old at the end of this year.
Nice. So how many full lengths have you put out, or how many records have you put out in general? How many releases do you have under your belt?
Funny enough, this is our first record that we've put out, but we've had four length albums released.
This is just the first one on vinyl.
Oh, okay. Oh, is that an awesome feeling or what? Like to see it on like LP?
Yeah. It's pretty awesome. And for Charge to put it out, that was
right?
huge. That was super cool.
Yep.
Who runs Charge? I can't. There's like 4 major punk labels, and I don't know who runs any of them. Like
Jake Casualty.
Okay, it is Jake. Okay, I wasn't sure, man. Dude, I'm so not in the loop with any of that stuff. I'm down here in Houston, bro. I'm basically just like, I wonder what's going on out in the fucking like LA and shit. What's happening in New York? I don't know. I'm way down here. Yeah, but it's all right. And for anybody's wondering, Jake, red hair, vocalist, Jordan, green hair. You play lead guitar, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Ah, there we go. My memory did not fail me today. Not yet, anyways. That's awesome, man. So what inspired you guys to blend metal with street punk? Because honestly, you know, metal and punk, we're like cousins kind of, but it doesn't always mix really well. Like I know I go to metal shows and they like look at punk rockers kind of weird, and vice versa. You go to a punk show and sometimes they're like, what the fuck's these guys doing here? But like at least
honestly,
more so
it wasn't intentional to be honest, but
okay.
I think some of it comes from our drummer Clay. It's funny that you mentioned Iron Maiden because he always gets stoked when we have something that he thinks of Iron Maiden. He always throws that out there. But
awesome.
So he has a little influence there. And then for me, like I said, it wasn't very intentional because I'm very much a street punk kind of guy, but it just came from me progressing and on guitar and just trying to write more than just, 4 chords and a chorus,
Right.
you know what I mean? So I guess that's really all it is. And bands like Starving Wolves, Crumb Bums back in the early 2010s, they're falling into what is now Starving Wolves, that sound.
Right.
And that's really when we started the band and when I really started trying to write music in general. So I think it really comes from that. Just trying to progress on guitar, and bands like Starving Wolves for sure.
That's cool. It's just like a natural thing, man. It's always nice when you have what's the right word? I don't know, a really great blend of sounds that does come natural, because man, you shred, bro. Like this album sounds wonderful, man. I really enjoy like the production, and your vocal style is right where I want to be with vocals and street punk. I have 2 styles of vocals that I really, really lean into, and it would be like if I'm in a more chill mood, it's more like Jack from One Man Army type stuff, where it's like singing, but it's like it's a punk rock guy singing it. And then there's like the screaming. I don't know how to like describe it other than it's like a scream that has this raspiness to it. It's very much like the Unseen, like your vocals, Dave from Starving Wolves, Crumb Bums. Dude, it's like a very specific style of vocal yell that I really like, and yours falls right into line with that. I was very excited to hear that record.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely. So your drummer is a big metalhead, likes Maiden, huh? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude.
He's been with us 11 years.
11 years, dude. It's weird how you said 2010, and I was thinking like, oh man, that was like yesterday, but it's not really. It's like almost 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Dude, fuck, man. I'm so old. Like time just flies by. Like it's I blink and my kid was born, and now he's almost 4, and I'm just like, where'd that go? It's interesting. You look at records from the 2010s, and you're thinking that sounds very, very recent. Man, it's not. It's flying out of here. We're halfway through 2020s now.
Yeah.
It's pretty insane, man.
I know it, man. I got a 3-year-old who'll be 4 in November, so I know it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, my guy turns 4 October 1st, man. I'm like, fuck, where did that go? It's just like it just flies, dude. When they're this age, it's a lot of fun too, because they're starting to talk and run around and be crazy, and it's just like it's really entertaining to just kind of watch them be psychopaths. They're just like, this kid is out of his fucking mind. Today he like walks in the house this morning with breakfast, and I was like, no pants at all, huh? And he was just like, no, and I was like, all right, man. Good for you, buddy. Like whatever you want to do, my guy. Like fucking whatever, man. It's interesting being like in this subculture we're in and being parents, right? Jordan, do you have any kids?
No, not at all.
No kids. Bro, my man said, nope, not for me, bro.
We actually told each other back in the day, we're like, look, we can't have any kids so that we can tour to the best that we can, the most that we can. Then I'm the one that has the
kids. Dude. Man, when I was playing in a band, I was definitely the one that like made all the like, hey, the declarations, and then I was definitely the one that fucked them all up. I was like, let's do this and this and this, and then it's like, dude, are you drunk again? I'm like, dude, I don't fucking remember, man. Maybe, probably. So, are you guys currently like setting up for a tour or anything? Well, what's the plan for the next, like, say, 6 to 8, 12 months?
We got a quick little 4-day run with The Exploited and Total Chaos at the end of this month. That's going to be awesome.
That's awesome. Dude, that is awesome.
Those are bands that we like grew up listening to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of a legendary lineup right there. You're like, dude, you got to play with Exploited and Total Chaos. It's kind of wild on the same show. Yeah. Like, especially 4 days.
We played with Total Chaos a number of times, but this will be our first time. Our first time ever even seeing Exploited live.
Yeah.
Our drummer's seen them, but
go ahead. Sorry.
Well, so we got that, and then there might be plans for before the end of the year, but can't really say nothing about that just yet.
Sure. Yeah, you start talking about stuff that's not nailed down, you'll end up sticking your foot in your mouth by accident.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But another big thing that we're looking forward to in in March, we're going to be back in LA playing Punk Invasion with tons of great, awesome
That's
bands.
a huge fest.
Yeah, that shit's crazy. I don't know how it's going to be pulled off in one day, but
Bro.
It's going to be wild.
Man, I'm just now starting to like venture outside of Texas for stuff like this. And I've never really traveled much, man. I'm sure you know how it is growing up, like without a lot of money. I traveling just wasn't in my cards. And so I flew out to Pittsburgh. Actually, I went and saw these dudes. I saw a bunch of like French bands, a bunch of Oi bands in Pittsburgh a few weeks ago. And I'm not this year's not in the cards, but I'm thinking next year I might fly out to LA for something like that, man, and film a bunch of it. And by then the channel will probably be substantially bigger and it'll make a little more sense. But I really would love to go see something like that. Like I looked at that set, the lineup, and I'm just like kind of shocked. I'm like, dude, like you said, how's that all going to work out? Is it what? I guess it's got to be multiple stages.
yeah,
But
yeah. I think it's actually 2 venues that are just on the same block too. But I don't want to speak. I don't want to speak too much because I don't really know. But that's just what I've heard. But
yeah,
we've worked with Nacho before, and he knows what he's doing. So I'm sure he's got a plan to pull it off just fine. But we're stoked for that, and nothing's nailed down. But maybe a couple dates around that, we might be able to do something on the West Coast. But
yeah,
that's up in the air. One thing I do want to shout out real quick is this Friday, the 13th, will be our record release show here in Atlanta. And what are all the bands playing? We got a lot.
Yeah, there's going to be 8 bands. There's the Atlanta like #1 D-beat band. They're called Disable. They'll be on.
The Aggravated,
really good hardcore punk band that's been around for a long time. Yeah, they got old members from Bloody Sods. Good guys. And then there's Tank Rats from Tennessee. There's a band from Spain that we have on. I'm not even gonna attempt to pronounce their name.
Dude, I've been going through a lot of that with this French stuff, man. It's hard to understand what they're saying and some of the names.
Yeah, but they have members of Booze and Glory playing. A good friend of ours.
Nice, dude.
Yep. So we're looking forward to that, and
it's gonna be a good time.
There's a few other bands playing, but there's going to be like food trucks, 2 stages, 8 bands, all ages. There's not many all ages spots left in Atlanta, so this is one of the good ones.
Man, you have to have an all ages venue, bro. Like I can't imagine trying to play music and being like we can only house like 21 and up, or even 18 and up, really. But 21 and up would be a nightmare, man. Like your shows would have like 30 people because, especially with punk rock, it's a youth movement, man. Like I mean, I'm definitely an old guy at punk shows, and it's like you can't have a punk show be a 21 and up. That's the Berkeley thing that they insisted on that place, not Gilman being all ages, and it caused some problems, but I think overall was worth the amount of work that had to be put in.
Yeah, there's a lot of like basement shows, house shows, and stuff here.
That's awesome.
But I mean, we're a 5-piece band, and we're all over 6 feet tall.
Damn.
Yeah, we're some giants.
Dude, that's awesome.
With our hair, it's like we don't really fit in basements. So.
Dude, for real. Dude, you know what? I sincerely appreciate that you can say something like that and like laugh about it, because like people have often forget that punk rock is supposed to, while be like a movement, it's supposed to still be fun, man. Like people take this shit so seriously, and I appreciate that, but it's nice to be able to have a fun time, man.
We just played this more so an Oi Fest in Atlanta, and Jake was dogging on some of the skinheads, and one of them called him the most angry toilet brush they'd ever seen when his hair was up.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're always roasting each other.
That's the best shit, man. Like I remember back in, I don't know, early 2000s when I had more hair, and we used to do the mohawks and shit. And like, I remember this one guy, I think it was Jake, but he had this like absolutely absurd mohawk. It was well over 2 feet. It was the biggest. I've never seen a guy's mohawk. But I remember him having to like ride. He played drums in a band called Arm in Arm. They used to run around with the Crumb Bums guys, but God, what was his name? Maybe it wasn't Jake. I don't know. Anyways, but he used to ride in the car like this. And I just remember being like, bro, are you not madly uncomfortable? Like, I would cut my hair off immediately if I had to ride in a car like that. Like, I'm just not that devoted to it. Like, I'm just, fuck, man. Yeah. But, that was good times, man. We had a venue down here in Houston called Walters on Washington, and right across the street was a place called Mary Jane's Fat Cat. And you're saying like 2 venues. One year we did a thing. We had a thing called Fallcore every year where it was just that was our local thing that we did every year. And we had like 16 bands or so. And I was like, how are you guys going to make this work? And he's like, the guy that was putting it on tells me, he's like, oh, I got both venues booked. And I was like, whoa. And that was the first time I'd ever seen where you'd have like a band play. And right when they were done, this band was already done sound checking and they were about to go on. And you just like walk across the street and then walk. It was like crowds of people. I'm sure it was a pain in the ass for everybody else around, but it was a lot of fun, man. I'm assuming that's what that LA show is going to be like. That's probably good times, dude. That's an insane bill. Like, are you guys friends with a bunch of the bands that are playing?
Yeah, man.
A good handful for sure. Yeah.
Our buddies, we're good friends with like Monster Squad, Lions Law.
Dude, those guys are awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, Lions Law is good too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
We did 2 shows with Lions Law. Like 2 years ago now?
Yeah, I guess that's been about 2 years.
2 years. We played here in Atlanta with them, and then we went down with them to Florida and played another festival in Florida. Nice.
Florida's like a different world too, man. Like, dude, I'm just like stuck out in the middle of nowhere, man. Like all these places have like great fests. Like Florida has fest that's on every year. I mean, it used to be mostly like that swamp punk shit. Like that's all it was. Now it's kind of grown to be like encompass all kinds of punk rock music, but. When you told me you were from Atlanta, I was genuinely shocked. I thought you were going to say you were from California somewhere. I'm assuming. How big is the scene in Atlanta? Is it pretty strong?
You know, we're just talking about that. It is really strong, and it's, you know, every city has their troubles and their drama and their bullshit. So we kind of Rotten Stitches. We kind of just like stick to ourselves these days. We do what we do. We focus more on writing and touring than we do the Atlanta scene, right?
Sure.
But the skinhead community is huge. The punk community is huge. Lots of kids after what it was like COVID, man. Yeah. COVID kind of like wiped out a lot. And when it came back, like it was huge before COVID. It was awesome. Every show was packed the fuck out. And then COVID happened. A lot of venues went out. A lot of bands died out. And we stayed strong. We kept on playing and writing and stuff as often as we could. But when it came back, you know, of course, there was a big boom when it came back. It was like, we're finally free. But then it was just like nothingness for a while. And really, it was just a big influx of the younger generation was all of a sudden older because 3 years had passed, you know?
Right.
But there wasn't enough all age venues for these kids to have an outlet.
Yeah.
But the younger kids are doing a lot right now. And also pretty cool what's been going on this summer. Our buddy Jay Crash, who runs Terminus Hate City Records, he's been putting on this summer concert series down in our little 5 points of the city, and it's been completely free, mixed lineup. So mostly metal. He's more into metal and everything. So it's been mostly metal. But he also had like a band like Silly Goose. I don't know if you've heard of them, but they're from Atlanta.
Absurd.
They're like new metal, kind of rapish type, like Limp Bizkit type shit. They're good at what they do, and they're blowing up. But and he put us on, and it's just a free show out in a field, and
dude, it's awesome.
It's fucking badass, man. And it's all ages, of course. You know what I mean? And we just walk up, and it really showed what the scene has to offer out here. You just got to find the little pockets of shows. You know what I mean? Especially if you're underage. So it's strong. It's just different now after COVID, for sure.
COVID did a number on everything. I lost a comic book shop to COVID. It was just like one day I was open and one day I wasn't. And I was like, what is happening? Like, it was so scary, bro. Like,
yeah,
it was, you know, unprecedented thing happening to us as people. You know, we had to, I was really concerned if like there was going to be movies ever again, if there's going to be shows ever again. Was there going to, it was insane, man. I just remember being like in my house and just thinking like, dude, I've been at home for like 3 months and I don't know what I'm doing. Like, there's nowhere to go get food. There's nothing. I can't go do anything. Like, everybody's afraid to say hello to you. Like, you walk outside, people are like, stay away from me. Don't talk near me. And it's like, dang, bro, like, I got COVID twice. The first time was incredibly scary, but yeah, man, that's I'm glad to see a rebound though, because 18 to 21 is a very large amount of time when you're that age. So like you said, the young kids that are in like high school juniors and seniors, all of a sudden they're adults and you're like, holy shit, where did so and so go? Oh, he's over here doing college now, or this guy moved to this city, and that's insane, man.
Yeah.
Like, knowing that y'all are in Atlanta is cool, though. I definitely, that's not super far from Houston, dude. Atlanta is a very reasonable trip for me. I would love to come out and check out Atlanta one of these days. I know in like the rap scene in Houston and Atlanta are very closely connected.
For sure.
But I just want to, I probably will regret saying this, dude, but I'm going to check out that band Silly Goose because I unironically love Limp Bizkit. Like, I don't know why. I think it's because they're so ridiculous. I kind of just think it's hilarious. But like, if you see what they're doing now, have you seen what they're doing right now?
Yeah.
Fred Durst has lost his fucking mind, and I'm here for it, bro. Like, I'm like, that guy gets it, dude. He doesn't give a shit what you think. He's just gonna do his thing. Like, I think that's kind of awesome, right? There, did they put out some stuff that I would consider incredibly douchey? Yes, but I don't know, man. Like, I've done a lot of douchey shit when I was younger. Like, I wasn't cool. Like what are we talking about? Like,
we're all wild and young.
Dude, check out Silly Goose. I'm all about it because they're from Atlanta too. So I'd love to see.
Gotta support the local homies.
Yeah, man, and they're blowing up. They're smart. They've just taken like a U-Haul to all these huge festivals, and they just play out in the parking lot. And they've gained a huge following doing it. And and like, dude, they're killer. So I'm all for it.
It's a great strategy, man. Just right out there, get a generator, throw like one PA and like a couple of amps, you're good to go, man. Like, you can do vocals, a guitar, bass, and drums pretty easily if you were smart about it.
Dude, they get huge crowds doing it too.
That's like guerrilla punk rock shit. Like, that's dope. Yeah. I like that. That's awesome. Anybody that's wondering like how you can get some exposure, dude, take notes, man. If you want to start making a name for yourself, just go set up somewhere and play. Like, I see like videos of dudes doing it under bridges sometimes. I'm like, how do they do that? I guess it's probably a generator, like just set up and like, that's awesome, man. That's a good reason to invest $1,000 in a generator. If you know, my mom, I live out in I don't live in Houston anymore. I live outside of Houston now because I got, family. It's just too expensive to live inside the city. But like, my mom's always telling me, you gotta get a generator. And I never really thought I had a good enough reason why, but I own I own a label, dude. So I got a couple bands I'm really close to in Houston. And like, I put out records pretty frequently. And like, it'd be nice to be able to go, here, take this, let's go do something. Let's go out wherever, man. There's plenty of places to go do that in Houston. You can set up in a Walmart parking lot. If you're smart about it, you'll get at least 5 or 6 songs in before the cops show up. Dude, that's crazy. So, okay. When you guys were sitting down to write your record, what was the writing process like for you guys? Did you sit down in a room together and write songs, or did every person show up individually with like some ideas? Because it feels, I don't know if the words uniform is right, but if there's like a cohesive flow to your album that I really appreciated, and it's sounded, I don't know, it's well written, if I can put it like that. So how did that process come about?
For a lot of it, it was written over a couple of years. Everyone definitely had a piece in it, you know what I mean? And our drummer Clay, a few songs he wrote and brought to the table. A lot of the writing, I will write out demos at home. I use GarageBand, so I'll send the band full demos of full songs written, and they'll learn them. We'll get to practice, and then everyone kind of adds in their ideas, you know what I mean? And we tweak them. By no means are the demos that I send them like final, you know what I mean?
Right.
So that's how I've been writing for the past couple of years now, and it seems like the next album we're working on now, it's kind of similar. Everyone's bringing stuff to the table, and then I kind of just take it home and I plug it in, and then I'll put my lead stuff over it and bring it back to the guys, and we'll tweak it again. And so that's kind of been the process now. So yeah, everyone has pretty much a good say in it. You know what I mean? I just kind of lay everything out, and
And while they're like practicing, we practice every week, and while they'll be jamming on the instrumentals, I'll kind of be doing my own thing, writing the lyrics as they're, you know, setting in stone riffs and all that.
So do you do all the lyric writing yourself, or is it kind of a conglomerative effort?
I'd probably say it's safe to say I do about 90%
okay.
of the lyrics, and then like Jordan will be like, "Hey, I want to write the song about this," and he'll like shoot me a line or two, and I'm like, "Oh yeah," and I'll build off of that.
Nice.
You know what I mean,
sometimes I'll write it in my head. I'll hear lyrics while I'm writing a riff. You know what I mean? And I'll be like,
okay.
I think this song should sound something about this, or like me and him connect pretty well on that. He'll be like, "Oh, I definitely hear what you're saying," and he'll kind of go off that, and then it is pretty much him writing though for the most part.
Well, I can definitely see the rapport there between the two of you guys, that y'all are pretty close. So it makes sense that you would kind of be able to say, "Hey, I got an idea," and he feeds off that. It's nice to see, because I've seen, for lack of a better word, like toxic bands where like you could tell the guys that were in the band were really good musicians, but they didn't necessarily get along really well, and they only stayed together because it was like, well, it makes sense. And it's like, I don't know, like that's cool. You do what you want. I'm not judging nobody, but like it's very obvious that there's a natural organic flow between the two of you guys with writing. It doesn't surprise me that that's kind of how it works. How does GarageBand work? I've heard, I'm not a tech guy at all. I'm just old enough to be like, I didn't do computers when I was young, so I never really got. Dude, the fact that I'm able to do this stuff is kind of a miracle. So how does GarageBand work exactly? Is that pretty simple to use?
Yeah, I mean, I'm no tech guy whatsoever either. I barely get by. But I got a really old version, but it's simple. You just open it up and it has all your tracks, you know what I mean, on the left side, and pretty much there's a drum track, and you can click on the drum setup that it has and kind of change what the drummer's doing. I just play around until I just start with a normal kind of style punk beat, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so the drums are one thing that I definitely are like not set in stone, and I'm not that good on GarageBand either. So sometimes there'll be things I want the drums to do. I can't even figure out how to make them do it on GarageBand.
Sure, yeah.
I'll just make something kind of work, and then I'll tell our drummer, I'll be like, "This is what I really want it to be," but he's gonna do his own thing anyway. You can't.
Drummers are their own beasts, man.
Yeah,
it's like, so you're basically using like the drum part of that as like a metronome almost to like write the song.
Yeah,
like
so
as a beat.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
When I used to go on YouTube and just find like backtracks, you know what I mean, backing tracks, and I would just play along to that.
Okay.
And then one of my other bands, one of our members gave me his old MacBook because I needed it and had GarageBand on it, and I was like, "Oh shit, this is like the backing track." But you know what I mean. So I'm very dumb with technology.
But I'm so bad with this stuff, man.
But I mean, yeah, that, and then I just plug in my guitar to a little I don't even know what it's called. Interface.
Okay.
Plug my guitar and bass in, and that.
It would have taken me 12 guesses to say interface, so you're good, bro. Like, it's called a fucking thing.
But yeah, it's pretty damn simple. But some people are good as shit with that stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh, I've definitely heard like demos that I thought were like really, really well made. That were like, oh, I did this on GarageBand, and I'm like, so is it like it's a Mac program, like an Apple program, or what?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it just comes.
Clearly, I don't know much about it. It's already on there.
Yeah,
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, because like so many people have access to it. I honestly thought it was a video game at first. I was like, okay, it must be like a. Bro, I don't do none of that stuff, man.
One of the other bands I'm in,
an old guy.
One of the other bands I'm in, our lead guy, he does it, and he has a newer version, and he does like what I was talking about with drums. Like he gets songs exactly how he wants them to be. You know what I mean? And he's tried to explain it to me. I'm just like, you know what, dude, I'm getting by. So
right. Dude, that's exactly how I feel about all of this. When I get to a point where I'm like, no, I'm happy. Like, I don't want to be showing. Like, right now, I'm trying to improve my editing skills. And if you look at a video I did, like, let's say 2 years ago versus one that I did now, you can see a dramatic improvement, right? But I'm still, I'm proud of what I do. I did learn all this by myself for the most part, and I am doing it. It's all a one-man show. I do everything myself. So, like, I'm really proud of it. So I take a little private, but dude, it is hard to learn this stuff, man. It's like the other day I tried to learn how to get some like overlays to make the image look like old film. And I was so stressed out within like 15 minutes that I just like stopped, got up and went in the kitchen and was like, I'm going to get something to eat. I'm just going to go to my job, and like, I'll work with this shit on Monday. I'm not even going to think about it because it just overwhelms me. And I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing, dude. So check this out. I did this Havoc tape, right? I put this out. You know the Havoc LA? Okay, so I put this tape out, right? And this is how old I am, bro. Like when I was getting ready to do the J cards, like not on necessarily that tape, but like I think the one before it, I was talking to the people that were the manufacturers, and they're like, "Yeah, just send me the artwork, and we'll send you like a proof to give us the approval to start printing." And I was like, "All right, bet." And I was like, I sent them like an image through email, whatever, right? And then the guy's like, "Hey, it's not formatted right." And I was like, "All right, well, what do you need?" And he's like, "I need it to look like this." He explains it to me, and I was like, in my head, I was like, "That's exactly what I sent you." So I was like, "Well, hey, man, I have the artwork like on like I have the artwork in my hand." I was like, "Can I just mail you this?" And he's like, "What would I do with it?" And I was like, "It's the fucking artwork. What do you mean? What would you do with it?" And I was so, because I'm so used to like, because the last time that I put records out was in like 2003. We cut and pasted everything.
Yeah.
And it was all like done, like, you know what I'm talking about. It's all done like a punk rock flyer. And I was like, I just was like, I don't understand why you can't take the artwork and make the J cards. And the guy was like, he didn't understand why I didn't know what he meant. And dude, it took us like 2 days of emailing before I understood that. And I was like, why didn't you just tell me you had a template? And he's like, oh, I'm like, you could have just emailed me the template. And when I got the template, I figured out, okay, I'll just start learning how to use, you know, Photoshop to size everything appropriately. But dude, it was gnarly, dude. I was so like, I felt really dumb. And but I was also getting like really aggravated because I didn't understand why I couldn't just mail homeboy the artwork. I was like, you don't gotta send it back, bro. Keep the artwork. I don't care. We might repress it later. I was like, but here, I sent him a photo. I was like, I got the actual artwork. And it, you know, it was a big ass piece of art. And I was like, you can just scale it down to whatever size is appropriate. He's very young, obviously, and he couldn't understand that why we even had like he didn't. Yeah, he was like, what do you mean you have a physical piece of art? I was like, wait, what do you mean? And dude, we were talking back and forth for a long time, bro. It was kind of a hilarious thread of emails, man. I kind of wish I should go back and make a video about that. I would look incredibly dumb, but it would be funny. So what are the goals with, you know what? Before I even go to that, dude, what's up with your band's name? Did it come from anything specific?
Well, originally, for the first year of us being a band, we were called The Stitches until we ended And The Stitches from California. And awesome. They didn't like send us a cease and desist or anything like that, but they did reach out to us and they were like, "Hey, we're The Stitches." We're like,
dude, that's actually kind of funny. You could have been like, I thought we were The Stitches. And then they wouldn't even think it was funny. You'd be like the asshole, and they're just like, fucking young kids. That's funny, bro.
Yeah, they've been a band since like the 80s and shit, and we felt really fucking stupid. So we changed awesome. It. We quickly changed it to we were like Infected Stitches, Rotten Stitches, whatever, and we were like Rotten Stitches. It's got a flow to it.
Yeah, no, I like it. I just wasn't sure if there's a story. That actually is a good story.
Also, me and Jake have gotten a lot of stitches.
Yeah, for years and years, we were taking turns going to the hospital for some crazy injury.
Not on purpose, but it seemed to be that way all the time.
We were jackasses.
I got stitches last year, so it's his turn now.
Yep,
and it's kind of been like that since we started.
Once he gets them, you're like, "Fuck, dude! I know it's my turn. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's gonna suck."
Yeah,
exactly. That's gnarly, bro. Like, I was working in a tattoo shop once, man, and there was a lot of instances where we were getting stitched up at that place. But I remember one night, it wasn't stitches, but for some reason this popped in my head when you were talking about it, because we used to do a lot of dumb shit too, and we would just be bored. And this is like way before smartphones and stuff, or at least before they were like prevalent. You know, they were real expensive, and to use them was even more expensive. So I just had a flip phone. I was upstairs. So we had this like 2-story, it was like 2.5-story house that was in like Houston proper. It had been turned into a tattoo shop. It's this beautiful place, man. But they have this room where it used to be a bedroom, and there's a window, and I would crawl out the window and just sit out on the roof and smoke cigarettes. And one night my buddy was in like a minivan in the parking lot right below me. And I was like, "Where's this fool at, dude?" And we were waiting on him. and he was the piercer. I think we were waiting on him with a couple of customers is what it was. But I was like, "Where's he at?" And he was in his van. Turns out I shouldn't have done this because he was having like a real serious conversation. But I was like, "Jason," I was yelling at him, right? And he wasn't paying. His windows were down. He wasn't paying attention. And somebody was outside like talking to me, and I just thought it'd be funny, and I jumped off like Macho Man Randy Savage to throw an elbow, and I landed on the roof, like the roof of his van, and it was like boom, dink, and it made this giant dent, which wasn't the issue. The issue was that I'm so stupid, I didn't realize that there was a luggage rack on top of the van. Dude, I broke a bunch of my ribs, bro. Fuck my shit proper, dude. It was bad, and he was mad as fuck at me too because his whole minivan. And this was like, he was a musician or is a musician. He plays in Verbal Abuse right now. He was,
nice.
Cool.
Yeah, bro. That's the homie, bro. Shout out Jason Friedman. His van was like, it was like, all tagged up on the inside and shit, but that was like his van. Like that was his vehicle. And he was like, "What is your fucking problem?" I was like, "I don't know, man. Like, just kind of hanging out, bro." Like, oh man, good times, dude. Yo guys, well, actually, let's go back to the question I was fixing to ask. What are the goals for the next like I don't know, 12 months or so with the band? What are you guys trying to? You said you're writing another record right now. Is it a full length?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh shit, that's balls to the wall.
That's really the goal, is to let's promote this Above the Ashes record as much as we can, but at the same time we're trying to get back in the studio and pump out another record real quick. We're about halfway done with it.
It's some next level. It's some next level shit too. We're adding a new dynamic to our writing, doing group vocals, doing some more. Not because the past 4 albums we've done has just been me and Jordan doing vocals, just us. And so we're doing a little more group vocals now.
Dude, that's a whole other beast, isn't it?
Yeah. And the writing in general is just, it's exponentially better too. It's like we're so proud and happy with Above the Ashes and how much we've progressed from our previous albums. And now we're still climbing and still writing better. And this next album is going to blow people away. We know it.
Well, I mean, that's a bold declaration because your record, you said it's Above the Ashes, right? That's what it's called, Above the Ashes. I've listened to it probably 3 times, all the way through. Like, I've listened to the whole record more than once. Like, when I first got it, I think one of my buddies that was on the live stream with me, he like threw out a request like for one of the songs. It's the one with the music video. I have a terrible short-term memory, so my apologies for not remembering song titles and such. And I was like, damn, this is fucking good. You know what's funny about that also? You said that you guys were all really tall. In the video, I was thinking like these dudes look like they're big ass fucking dudes. And then you're like, oh, we're all 6. I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. But I heard that one song and I was like, dude, this is really good. And then he hit me up, was like, you got to listen to this album, man. You're gonna like it. And I was flabbergasted. So for you to say that you got an album that's exponentially better, I'm legit excited to hear this, man. Like,
yeah, man, we're really excited.
Awesome. Thank you for that, man.
Yeah.
No, absolutely, man. Dude, look, it was I had to reschedule this, but I was excited to talk to you guys, man. I really like your music. My whole goal with this entire channel is just to have a community. It's nothing, there's no other goal. It's just to have a place that's a destination spot for musicians, everything punk and punk adjacent under that umbrella. It can be a little bit of metal, a little rapish if that's what they want. I don't care, man. The first tape I put out in 2022 was or 2023, I guess, was a rap tape from my friend out of Florida, man. I mean, he's an old hardcore guy, but like I'm not in here to like tell people what to do. I just want to have a place that's, punk's not like a safe place necessarily, but it's still a safe place. Like you can come and just be, you might get shit talked, but you can come do whatever you want. Like I don't care. So
yeah, for sure.
That's all I really want. So I want to talk to everybody. I had Jim Lindbergh from Pennywise on. Well, I still want to talk to you guys. I also want to talk to the kid that's in his basement right now that's making songs that we don't know who he is.
Hell yeah.
Like, I don't give a shit. That's what I love about this. So yeah, man, if I say something about your music, I don't have nothing to worry about. I like what I like and I don't like what I don't like. And so I'm really excited to hear it though. I'm not a big metal fan. Like I like some metal, right? Mostly thrash stuff, like early 80s thrash, old Metallica, and then Municipal Waste type music, but I feel like that's just kind of punk rock with long hair. But like
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't understand how that shit's even called metal sometimes. I've been to those shows. That is definitely a punk rock show. But the blend of the, what do you call it? Like the more epic metal stuff with like street punk, a la Rotten Stitches, Starving Wolves. is something that I didn't know I was going to be super interested in. And when I heard it, it was a very natural, like, click. I like this. It didn't take but like half a song, and I was like, oh, this shit's good.
Oh yeah.
We try to write more melodic street punk than your average 2-chord.
Yeah.
You know, just bland punk rock, which we just try to make it.
I like bland punk rock too. Like, don't get me wrong. I'll take the simple stuff too. And if I was gonna write it, it would be bland and simple. So like, I love that stuff. But like, there's something to be said for really like pretty sounds with a gnarly punk rock song. I think it's awesome. You guys gonna do any ska shit? No, I'm kidding. Dude, if I heard y'all do a ska song, that would be awesome. But B, I would be shocked. I'd be like, what the fuck is happening right now?
Funny enough, we have two songs previously. We did like one on one album and one on another. It was just kind of like a one song thing, but you know, we still put our own Rotten Stitches signature sound twist.
It's really just I added some bar chords and did some upstrokes, but it was not. There's no horns.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like,
no, but like, you know, Against All Authority is still a punk band, but they're a ska band.
Yeah,
Operation Ivy is still a punk band, but they're a ska band. So like, you know,
so you get it, yeah.
It's a joke, but it's, dude, you can still make some really punk rock ska. What's the most like street punk band that has done like ska shit? I guess it would be you guys if y'all have a couple of ska chords in your shit.
We're not a ska band, but
I'm saying like the Unseen doesn't even have like a ska song. Then it's just the Virus. I don't think any bands that are like that really do that kind of stuff.
Do you know like No Cash or Evil Empire, Ghetto Blaster?
Oh yeah, I know those bands. I didn't even think about those bands. I don't know them like really, really well, but I know who they are. Yes.
Yeah.
What are they on? Are they on No Time?
They haven't done anything in a long time.
I can't keep up with any of this stuff, dude. There's so many like small labels, and I love it, man. That's one of the cool things about the internet right now is that small stuff like my little label can exist because I had no business putting out a tape for the Havoc 10 years ago. It's really freaking cool that they are like friends of mine now, and that I can do stuff that I can work with people that I really admire. So hey, you said you have four total albums. I don't know that I knew that. I'm still fairly new to your band. Are the other 3 available on disc or anything, or is it all online on Bandcamp or something? Where can we find those other records?
One is on Spotify and all platforms, streaming platforms and whatnot. It's called Punch Through Mirrors.
Okay.
And then the other 2, I think, are only on Bandcamp, aren't they?
Yeah, just Bandcamp and YouTube.
Okay, so we can listen to them though. Okay, I might put those up on the channel later, just so people can hear them. If you guys, as long as y'all don't mind,
you can definitely hear our progression from where we started. It's very raw, very shitty.
He's like very shitty, dude. You know what I hate is whenever a band. Okay, so like I guess I'm kind of on both sides of this coin. When a band has a sound, okay, so like if Pennywise was to do like a metalcore record, I'd be pretty bummed out, right? But I also hate it when bands like have a sound and then they change it, I guess. But I also get super irritated by when a band actually progress. I guess that's what it is. It's like if you have a sound and you're really good at it, it doesn't make a lot of sense to change, right? But if you're just like naturally progressing and evolving a little bit, I hate when like like you were saying, you might have the first record or something. It sounds a little different, right? It still sounds like you guys, but it's like less experience, less time on the mic, less time on guitar. As you play more and you get older, you learn and stuff. People are like, oh, I like the older stuff better. It doesn't. Like people that tell me Rancid 93 is their best record. I'm like, get the fuck out of here, man. What are you talking about, dude? Like, it's a good record, but like they grew as a band, they grew as a unit, and I'm sure that you guys have the same thing. There's probably people that are like, oh, I only like Rotten Stitch's first album. Fucking
I don't think anybody's saying that about
us. No, maybe not. That is to be determined, I guess.
Yeah. But it is worth checking out just to see our level of progression because we did.
Yeah, there's some good songs in there.
It's definitely, they're definitely good albums.
I'd be surprised if they weren't good.
No, but like you said, we just got a lot more experience under our belt and knowledge of our instruments, and we just naturally progressed and got to where we are now.
Well, certain things that only come with time, man. You can't be a 10-year veteran into it, just doesn't exist. So people have to expect that. Plus 10 years is a long time for technology, so I'm sure the recording process was vastly different when y'all were doing your first record.
Yeah.
those early ones were still like, not everyone could get good recordings back then. And
right.
Our shit. So now it's pretty. If you can't get a good recording nowadays, then
I feel like it's either intentional or incredibly lazy. There's only two reasons. Yeah, it's. I was telling this kid the other day. He was talking about, oh man, I want to write music so bad, and he's like, I play guitar and I play bass. I can play piano a little bit, and I was like, bro, go write your own shit. And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, you don't have to tour and play live shows. You can put out music, and if people like it enough, people will offer to play with you. And he's like, oh, I never thought about it like that. I was like, yeah, if you're good like that, I said, I can't do that. If I could do that, I would do that. If I could write and record guitar, lead guitar, bass, vocals, and a simple drum, I would absolutely have like 10 albums out. But I can play rhythm guitar and I can sing a little bit. That's about it. And I can't do them at the same time. So, it's dude, that shit is terribly hard. Man. So you don't play guitar at all. You only do vocals. That's a wise move, man. That shit is so hard.
I can't play shit. I tell him, I'll be like, yeah, do the part where you're like, yeah,
dude, that's what I'm talking about. Dude, hey, shout out to Halston Luna, man. That's my old guitar player, bro. He was like a prodigy, man, like at like 17, and I was like in my mid-20s. He was blowing my mind with his guitar shit. I was doing the same thing, man. Do that thing where you're like, and he's like, all right, bro, whatever. And he's like, you mean this? And he'd play that thing. That was badass. And he's like, yeah. He's like, I would bring him like these songs that I had written the rhythm for, and he would just make them beautiful pieces of music. And I was so impressed by his skill level. Yeah. How hard is it for you to play guitar and sing, Jordan? Is it something you're comfortable with?
Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with it. I used to do this one-man band thing too, right?
Yes.
Like acoustic guitar with a harmonica and a kick drum and a foot tambourine, and I sang. So I'm pretty comfortable with playing and singing. So,
dude, that's awesome. So, okay, are you familiar with any other artists like that? Have you ever heard of the dude named Scott H. Byram?
I'm not sure. Honestly, that was a couple years ago when I did that. And I used to listen. He's plugging his phone in.
Oh, no, it's all good. No, when he got up, I literally thought in my head, I bet he's plugging his phone in because I've done this a lot.
Sorry, but I kind of. What's funny is I recorded an 8-song EP or album or whatever you want to call it, doing that shit.
Okay.
And then I heard my voice and I was like, nope. I didn't put it out and I kind of stopped doing it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, there's this dude out of Austin, and that's literally what he did. Is he had like an acoustic guitar and phone down. He had an acoustic guitar and a kick drum, a harmonica. And he had like an album called like The Dirty Old One Man Band, and that was the first time I'd ever seen anything like that. And I was flabbergasted.
That's cool,
dude. Yeah, bro. You ever heard of a band called Born to Lose out of Austin? They don't play anymore, but they had an album called Sweet Misery. It's pretty big.
I'm not sure.
How old are you
guys? 32 and 31.
Okay, so you're quite a bit younger than I am. Yeah, they were a really big Austin dude. I don't know, something's happening right now, and I'm hearing a really loud tinny feedback.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's all good. I just wanted to let you
know. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to hold my phone. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, it's not gonna bother me as long as it doesn't bother you.
No,
it doesn't bother me. He's the one doing it.
Yeah, dude, right? I mean, we're at 50 minutes anyways. We got another few minutes to get in here. Try not to make it uncomfortable for you. If you need to get out of here, let me know. It's fine. Dude, I'm kind of surprised that you're already writing another album. That's awesome. Like I like that. I think that's great. If you got the stuff in your head, get it out to the world, man. It's better for the world to have it and be able to listen to it. And I would imagine you're probably progressing as a band, as a group.
Definitely. I mean, it's kind of my thing to do at home is sit there and play music. So when I write something, I just send it to the guys. And do you guys like this? You want me to keep writing this? So
that's another thing that's good about the internet is you can send demos like anytime you want. Hey man, I got this idea. What do you think? Yeah, we'll take it. Nah, we don't need it. How many bands do you play with right now? You said you had at least one more, huh?
I'm in 2 other bands. I play bass. Yeah, I play bass in a band called Strike First.
Okay, it's cool name.
Kind of like oi rock and roll type shit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you'd probably like it a lot.
Yeah, and then sounds like I would.
I play rhythm guitar in the Hanging Judge, which is another rock and roll punk band.
Hell yeah! Send me links to those later if you want. If you don't mind, I'll check them out, man. Put them up on the channel.
Sure.
I'm doing a live stream tonight. I'll play them on the stream.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, you were saying that you can't play shit. I'm guess you're really happy that you can sing really well. I like your vocals a lot. I don't know how you feel about them, but I like that vocal style. That's like top 2 or 3 vocal styles for me is like that exact kind of. I don't even know what to call it. Are you yelling or screaming or is it like how much pressure are you putting on your throat when you're doing that? Because I know that when I do it, it's a fair amount. But I know I've heard guys tell me like, oh, it's not that hard at all. I don't understand that.
Yeah, it's kind of just my style, man.
Yeah.
You said, is it yelling or is it screaming? The answer is yes.
There we go. Yeah.
That's awesome. It's kind of just my signature scream that I do. I'm just yelling really pissed off.
So did it come pretty naturally to you when you stepped up to the mic to try it out? Is this your first band?
I dabbled with bands when I was a young teenager, but nothing ever serious.
Sure.
Rotten Stitches was my first serious band.
Okay.
And when I was doing vocals, I took a lot of influence from like heavier bands and shit. And so like when you listen to our first 2 albums, you'll hear a more like my vocals is a lot more raw, a lot more guttural.
Okay.
And we wanted to stick to our street punk roots and stuff. So I just kind of evolved my style to be what it is now. And, I didn't want to try to steal anybody's vocal style. I kind of wanted like Rotten Stitches in general. We didn't want to really steal anybody's style or their sound, but we do take influence.
Sure.
Of course, So yeah, that's didn't exactly come natural. I just kind of evolved over the years to how it is now.
When you were saying that you didn't want to steal anybody's sound, I was thinking immediately like there's only a couple of bands that I feel like sound similar, and I would say that Starving Wolves is the only other one that I immediately thought of, because you have a lot of street punk, D-beat, and metal all wrapped up into one band. And typically people tend to go with one or the other. And that's one thing I liked about Starving Wolves. So it was cool to hear another band that sounded not this, like in the same umbrella as that. I was like, damn, this would make a nice little like tour or a mixtape or something, man. Put it in a car or something. But
well, it's funny you keep mentioning Starving Wolves. Those are actually really good friends of ours.
And, oh, no shit.
Yeah, man. David and Volta, all great guys. Josh.
Dude, that's awesome.
Kevin. But David is actually on 2 tracks of Above the Ashes.
Dude, hold on. Which songs? I think I was thinking that when I heard them.
Yep, he's on In Death's Eyes and Reality Sets In. He went in the studio for us and he's on the choruses.
That's badass, dude.
Yep.
Dude, how cool of a guy is that dude? He's such a nice guy.
He's one of the best dudes, man. He's one of the realest motherfuckers we know. We had the pleasure of touring with the Casualties 2 years ago, and we did 2 weeks or maybe a little more.
It was 3 weeks.
3 weeks. We did 3 weeks with the Casualties.
That's awesome.
2022.
That's a long time.
We got to really know them and hang out with them and like spend genuine time with them outside of being on stage with them, and that's when Jake was like, oh yeah, I'm putting you guys' record out, and we were
let's go,
let's do it.
Dude, that's awesome. It's interesting, man. Like when there's certain people out there, like David would be one of those people. If he was to tell me that, yeah, I'm friends with these guys, I would automatically know like, oh, they're probably good dudes then, because he's the kind of guy that he'll call you out if you're being a shithead, but like he's just one of those dudes that attracts other good people. Whenever he jumped on the show with me, I was so grateful, man, because he didn't know this. I think he was looking at me like he recognized me. I was like, dude, we've known each other for a long time. And he's like, fuck, I know this guy from somewhere. And I was like, yeah, I'm from Houston. And I told him who I knew. And he was like, oh, shit. I was like, yeah, that was my roommate. And I said, I've known him since we were 5. And he was like, oh, that's how I know you. It was one of those things where I was like, yeah, bro. I used to have different hair and shit. And I'm old now. I don't put effort into it anymore. But I remember whenever he became the singer for the Casualties and people were pissed. And I was like, dude, if there's anybody that fits that role outside of Jorge, it's David. I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, he's got like similar enough vocal style, but like he's like the guy. Like he's the right guy for that. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. We were there for David's first performance with the Casualties.
At Fuck You We Rule.
Yeah, we're playing a festival together out in Oklahoma called Fuck You We Rule Fest. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
But that sounds awesome.
It was nuts, man. It was awesome.
I bet he was so nervous.
Yep, and he was really nervous, and he was walking around, pacing around the backstage area with lyric sheets in hand, and he was like, "You guys are gonna have to help me with this." And we were like, "We got you, man."
Dude, dude, I love punk rock for shit like that. Like stuff like that exists, and it makes me so happy, dude. Like, because I'm sure you guys were the same, man. When I was young, dude, I ain't had no fucking friends, man. I wasn't cool. I didn't have nothing, man. I was the punk rock kid. I was the kid that was like by myself all the time, listening to music, reading lyrics, writing stuff on my binder, and skateboarding by myself and shit. So like when I found out like, oh, other kids feel like this, I was like 15 and I was like, oh, this is badass, and started going to shows, and I didn't even necessarily fit in there yet. It took me a long time before I was comfortable in my own skin, man. Like nobody was being rude or shitty necessarily. Well, maybe sometimes when I was real young, you have the older guys that are like, hey, what's up? Get the fuck away from me, kid. But like, I'm very talkative, so I'm sure I was bothering people, but like, it took a while. It's such a beautiful thing to find a community where you really belong, and you're like, it's really clear to me that I fit here. Like it's obvious. Like my channel, like I started doing it and it just kind of came natural. I was like, oh dude, I think I should have been doing this like the whole time instead of trying to do a band, like do the label, the channel. I have a little record store. Like that's really where I fit in my community down here in Houston. It's obvious to me now. I wish I had the benefit of hindsight way back when, right?
And then it's cool when you now it's so easy to start interacting with people you used to look up to and listen to and stuff growing up.
It's weird, bro.
Yeah, and you realize like they're just as cool as you thought they'd be,
Especially in this genre, man. I would actually go out on a limb and say it's only this genre, bro. Like I can't imagine too many big metal bands willing to talk. Tell me a metal band that has the same like I don't know, aura and like that Pennywise has, that's willing to sit down and talk to me. That dude's a fucking legend, man. Like he's been around a long time. And he like hit me up on my Instagram. I was like, hey, I just wanted to say thanks for this thing you did on your channel. And it blew I didn't even think it was him, bro. I was like, there's no way that's really him. And I was like, he's just, I just thought he was too busy. I didn't think he was going to be a shithead. I just thought he was too busy, Yeah. So I said, is this really Jim? And he's like, yeah. I was like, holy shit, what's up, dude? And, it was, it's a beautiful place. Punk rock is it's a gnarly place, but it's a beautiful place, man. If you can cut the mustard, dude, this is the place to be, man. Because it's for lifers, dude. It's a lifelong journey that we're all on together. And, it is not perfect, but man, I can't imagine doing anything else. Like, what else would I do? I'm not built to like work for, like, I have a part-time job. That's it. I do all this stuff otherwise. And I don't think I can work for other people anymore. Like the part-time job I got it 8 years into working for myself, and I didn't think I was going to even stay there. I've been there a couple of years. It just happens that I 10 bar and wait tables at Alamo Draft House, so I kind of just fit in because of what the place is. Like I think at a regular place I would have done quit. I don't got time for this shit, man. But
yeah, back to you saying about like punk rock is like, we can always interact with our heroes and shit like that. We were just hanging out with Bones and Ron from Lower Class Brats after the show.
So crazy, bro.
And just kicking it with them, and they were praising us and telling us. Ron said that we're his favorite street punk band in North America, and
let's go.
That just fucking like hit you right in the heart, you know what I mean? And we're like,
yeah, dude.
We're like, even if you're blowing smoke up our ass, still cool you said that.
Bro, the only problem that I ever have is like actually reaching somebody. As soon as I've reached, I don't think I've had anybody that I've actually spoken to that was anything other than willing to talk and hang out. Like if I didn't get a hold of them, then I don't have a clue. But if I got a hold of somebody, they've always been like, yeah, I'm down for whatever. I had on Brad Logan, and that was the first one that like I was like, this is weird. Like I've been listening to a song called Brad Logan for like 25 years. I was like, this is odd, man. And he was just like a regular ass cool dude, like talking about books and shit. I was like, man, you're awesome, bro. Like, thank you for being cool. But so before we wrap this up, I want to know a couple things about you guys, because I didn't even ask you this earlier, and I probably should have done this a long time ago. what are some of your favorite bands and some of your biggest influences? Just in general. I don't need to like have like, oh, when I was writing this, just like who are the bands that you get like a fire lit under you listening to?
Mm-hmm. You want to start?
It all goes back to like the golden punk, street punk years for me. You know, the Virus, Drum Bums, Casualties, Monster Squad, bands like that. I mean, Clip 45,
yeah,
Career Soldiers, yeah, all that kind of shit.
Yep,
dude, I have some incredibly cool stuff that I'm talking to some of the dudes from Clip 45. I'm like working on some cool stuff just involving those guys. Like it is weird the shit that a computer can help you out with now.
Hell yeah.
It's shout out to anybody that's ever heard from me and responded. Like, thank you. Like it's awesome, dude. So what are some of the other bands that you guys play with that you'd want to shout out if you had an opportunity?
The homies in the Horribles down in Florida.
Yep.
Some good friends of ours.
Any other good Atlanta street punk bands right now? Or is Atlanta doing a lot of hardcore right now? I can't keep up, man. I don't know what's going on anywhere.
There's a lot of like the two-step hardcore bands in Atlanta.
Okay.
Like honestly, man, and this feels weird to say, and I'm not trying to sound any kind of way about it, but we're really the only street punk band that's doing what we do out here.
I mean, sometimes that's the case, bro. It's not weird.
Yeah.
Like I think back when I was hanging out with the dudes that introduced me to Dave and the Crumb Bums, I'm pretty sure they were the only band doing street punk stuff in Houston that was like, well, Houston's so big. I think there was a South Side band too called PWI, if I remember correctly. Shout out to those guys. We were not friends back then, but I have no animosity.
David's told us. He's told us a couple times that we're like the Crumb Bums of this generation because they were kind of like lone soldiers for their time, and now we're kind of like the lone soldiers of our time.
It's weird because I feel like simultaneously connected, but also everything is really like just legitimately spread out. Like there's one street punk band out in like Northern California, maybe one in Southern California. You got one in Atlanta. There might be, I don't know of any street punk bands in Houston right now. Like actual like street punk bands. I don't know. I don't hardly see any Mohawks up. I have a vest that I wear when I'm not sitting in my chair. Obviously, I'm trying to be comfortable in here doing this, but like, you know, I don't see a lot of that out and about. And
shout out to Moose Knuckle. They just put out a badass record. They're from Boston, correct?
Yeah, Boston. Yep.
Dude, the fucking names these bands come up with, dude.
Moose Knuckle.
Yeah, didn't you call the other one was like Silly Goose?
Yeah.
We got Silly Goose. We got Moose Knuckle. I'm here for it, bro. Like I like that. That's ridiculous, man. Yeah. In a good way. Like,
and Tank Rats, they're coming down Friday for our record release. They're from Tennessee.
Mm-hmm. Nice. They're Tank Rats. Okay.
Yeah, they're awesome street punk.
Okay, and you said Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee. Man,
that's a place I don't often, match up with like punk rock. Tennessee. Yeah. I guess there's punks everywhere.
They got a surprisingly good scene in Tennessee. Like you wouldn't think it, but they really do. There's a big festival out there called Muddy Roots that we played last year, and it's like hundreds to like probably well over 1,000 people there. Like 50 bands. Like Gogol Bordello just played there. Adolescents. Yeah.
Damn. And it's like street punks with some metal bands, with some folk bands, with some.
Oh, I like it. That's how you do it.
It's a big mix.
You know what? I always talk about like the Warped Tour being like, from my age, the Warped Tour was like the best it got. I was there in like the late 90s all the way to like maybe 2004 or so. There was like about a 6-7 year period where I was like every summer, that's what I was looking forward to. And I will say that the one positive about the Warped Tour no longer existing is that it did exist to some degree, or not to some degree, it did exist. And so people learned from that. And now we have each city basically is like putting on their own little thing. Now it could be in the fall or the summer or whatever, but everybody does something every year, and you can have all these opportunities to where if you have a local scene at all, something's going to happen every year, and you'll be able to go see a bunch of bands play for a reasonable amount of money. Because that when we were young bullshit in Vegas, while I understand the appeal, bro, that thing was like $500. It was no real punk bands. It was all, that's not what I'm talking about when I say like a all day fest, punk thing. Dude. We're talking like, it's cool to see all these cities taking charge and putting on big giant fests and stuff. That's badass. Well, here, I'll wrap this up, man. I know you're tired of holding that fucking phone. That's got to drive you nuts.
I'm not sure. I just got an idea of how to set it up. So.
Oh, nice. Well, I'm not in any big hurry, man. I'm down to chill, bro. It's fucking Sunday. I've been working all weekend. You guys have day jobs, or you just do music?
Yeah, we both got day jobs. I work construction, and I don't know what these guys do. Something with signs.
Yeah, I work for a screen print company.
Oh, nice.
That's how I get like a lot of our stickers.
Hell yeah.
There we go. Okay.
Oh, that is super still. That's what's up.
Yeah.
What'd you put it on?
My hands are all shaky. I just wedged it. I wedged it in my table.
No, I'm always interested to see what people set their phones up on, because I've seen people do it on like CDs. I think old buddy from Monster Squad was setting it up on a big stack of CDs so he could see me. But
smart.
Yeah, man. Construction, and then I do bartending. That's the thing that every punk rocker I've ever met has done one or two of those things. They've either been in construction or waited tables and bartended.
Yeah,
it's the one job you can kind of just bounce from and then come back to.
Yeah, I'm in the union too, so I could going on tour and shit's not a problem. I just
that's
say I'm
awesome.
leaving. Yeah.
So what does that entail? I don't know much about that. Being from Houston, dude, I don't think we do anything like that down here.
You got a union out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get
what shows how much I know. Yeah. I'm not built for construction, bro. I'm gonna go ahead and just say it. I am too big of a pussy. I'm not trying to do it. I don't want to be outside all day. It is too fucking hot down here.
Yeah,
doing construction all day.
Definitely work my ass off, but
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I was up in Austin once, and I was doing I wouldn't say it was construction, but I worked for a guy who did he did stuff on properties, right? And he was like, "Hey man, I'll pay you whatever it was." It was like a lot more money than I should have been getting to bury phone line, cable lines, and what I didn't know is he was setting me up, bro, because out there in Austin, it's a lot of clay, and he gave me this it was 14 inches wide by I think about 18 inches in height and about half an inch thick. It was solid steel, and it was attached to a rebar that was then what do you call it? Welded to another piece of rebar. And he's like, "Here," he gave me some gloves, and I was supposed to take it, soak the ground, lift it up, slam it in, open it up, bury the line for thousands of feet. Dude, we're talking this thing was maybe a foot wide. Dude, I have never been in as good a shape, but I've never hurt so bad in my life. That is when I was I'm not built for this kind of shit. There's a few things I'm not built for. Prison and construction work, dude. Neither of those things have anything to do with me. No, thank you.
Yeah.
You do do what?
I would love to not have to do it, but I don't know. I like working hard. Before this, I was doing tree removal, so
yeah,
I seem to pick the most physical jobs I can for some reason.
What kind of construction do you do? Are you building houses and buildings? Are you doing road work? What are you out
high rises?
Do you get up on that shit?
Yeah, but I'm an electrician, so
that's badass.
I'm not hanging off the side of the building unless there's lights to be put on the side of the building. But I've yet to hang off the side of the building. But yeah, I mean, I'm up there while the building is a skeleton. You know what I mean? So it's pretty. I mean, that shit's cool to me.
Dude, that's crazy, bro. No, thank you, man. We're humans. We're supposed to be on the ground. I don't even like flying, bro. Dude, y'all must be this guy right here is a big wiener, bro. Lots of things that don't scare me, like guns, knives, don't typically scare me, but a building will scare me.
I'll post pictures sometimes, and plenty of people reply no, thank you.
Yeah.
So I get it.
He'll be thousands of feet up in the air.
I'm the curious one too. I always gotta kind of look.
Dude. And then I would be the guy that was puking. What's up with that guy? He's all right. He'll be all right in a little while.
I've heard stories. People had no issues days prior, and then one day they're going up the steps and they look down and they just freeze and they're done. They have got to get carried off the job, basically. I mean, it doesn't happen every day, but I've heard of it. Man,
I would feel bad for that person. I would be I don't think I could laugh at that if I was in person, in hindsight, whatever. But there, I would be really empathetic because I'd be how mortified are they right now? How embarrassed are they if they were just all of a sudden couldn't do it? Imagine got your work boots on, got your uniform on, you're up there or whatever you're wearing. You look like a
ready to go,
and you're up there and all of a sudden fucking homeboy can't move. I would be really, I would feel really bad for somebody, dude. Yesterday, this is super random. Yesterday, I was driving to work, and I was going to my shop in the morning. And I got to a point at a freeway cross, like a 4-way stop. And it's typically like a minute or two of wait time. You know, there's a little bit of traffic, and then you turn and it's open road. But it was like all of a sudden Google was blinking at me, and it was like, yo, it went from like green on my map to like red, and I was like, what the hell? And it was like a dead stop gridlock, dude. And I turned right at the stoplight, and I'm like, dude, why are there so many cops? And I just wasn't thinking. And I looked to my left, and there was a fucking dead person on the ground, bro. It was insane, dude. Like, you ever see something that just completely, like, it didn't change me. I've seen stuff like that, but like, it just changed my day. Like, it made me think of like just stuff that I don't normally think about. It was weird, man. Like, it put me in a weird mood for like 3 or 4 hours, bro. It was just like kind of, I felt bad, dude. I just didn't. I don't know, man. Somebody was alive half an hour before that, and then that's right. Life's weird, bro. They were walking around doing their thing that morning, and then they're not here anymore, and it's just like, wow. It just makes you want to go out and do something, right? I went to work and started cleaning up my store, like taking pictures and posting, like, hey, come in and hang out. Like, wanted to do something besides sit around and not, mindlessly thumb through YouTube or Instagram, or I don't even look at TikTok, and I haven't had that for probably like 8 months. This shit is super unhealthy. Well, creating stuff online, I get sucked in kind of easy, and I was trying to do the TikTok thing, and I had a pretty viral video, and I thought I can probably do this in conjunction with YouTube, and I found out like real quick, no, man, I get sucked right into this, and I start fucking with it and looking at it, and I can't get away from it. And I'm 11 years sober, so like my addict brain won't let me. So I just had to like take it off, get rid of it, man. I try not to do too many YouTube shorts. It's they've got us figured out, man. It's a problem. It is a problem. How do you guys feel about well, I don't want to go too political or anything, but like the state of the country right now, man, it's pretty scary,
Yeah, it's all fucked.
It's a mess.
That's the way to put it right there. That's a simple answer. It's all fucked.
There's no right side. It's all fucked.
Isn't that crazy? There used to be a good guy, I thought. Maybe not. And probably not.
It's obvious they're all shitting on us now.
Yeah.
Right. Man, they think we're dumb. They really think we're dumb, bro. Like, we may not be able to do a lot about it, but they really think we're stupid idiots, man. Like, the way that all this stuff's happened in the last like 6-8 months is just so baffling to me.
All of our rent is fucking skyrocketing every year. It's more, it's like hundreds of dollars more every year.
It's wild.
My rent, I've been living in this house since 2020, and it's gone up almost $500 since I've been here.
Whoa, that is a lot.
But the thing is, it's still a cheaper option than like most of the houses around me, because everywhere is just more and more expensive. I mean, fucking groceries are $300 a week. You know, like,
I know about that. I got 3 kids, bro. Groceries are fucked right now.
Inflation is way out of control. I mean, it's
wild,
it's wild times, man.
I don't even know what the answer is, man. I don't think that there is a good answer, because the answer is probably everybody has to get together and figure out something. And I don't think most people are willing to do that. I think as a community, we would do it. But like, I can tell you, I know people that wouldn't want to do anything to help anybody but themselves. And it's pretty sad.
For sure. And that's how fucking, I'm not trying to get overly political here, but that's how Hitler came into office, man. Germany was in a hyperinflation where everything, like, I mean, it was like 1,000 times worse than it is here, of course, right now. But like, he was like, I'm going to come and be everyone's savior. I'm going to figure this out for everyone. And so everyone was like, oh, finally, a voice of reason. And then that turned into what it turned into.
I mean, do people not see the parallels between Donald Trump and Putin and Hitler? Like, am I the only one that sees that? Like, and I'm not trying to be like dramatic either, but it's real. Did that stuff not happen already twice? Like in China, like these people were voted into office, man. Like, let's not get it twisted, bro. They didn't just go take some shit over. They were voted into office, and they just said, fuck you, I'm not going nowhere.
Yeah.
And that is a reality that I'm pretty scared of. I got kids. I'm terrified of the next 10, 15 years.
Yeah, man.
And it is something that, while I don't, again, want to spend a bunch of time talking politics and dragging everybody down, but it is something we don't want to bury our heads in the sand. We need to be aware of what's going on in our world and take care of each other, because nobody else is going to do it.
We both have, like me and you, we both have a kid almost 4 years old. And like, I know you're probably thinking the same thing I'm thinking, like, is World War III going to happen while we have to carry our kid around. Is
Bro,
civil war going to happen when I have to carry my kid to safety? You know what I mean? Like,
I've literally thought, like, recently, like in the past 2 or 3 days, I thought, like, okay, what am I gonna do if, like, I gotta start killing animals to eat? Like myself, I gotta find an animal and kill it to eat, or I gotta go grow vegetables to eat. And I was like, I mean, I'm down for hunting if I need to. I mean, whatever it is, what it is. If it's me or the animal, or me and my kids' life versus, like, I'm not gonna harm another person, but like, if I gotta go hunt, I'll hunt. I don't like the idea of doing it, really, to be honest. But like, whatever, like, it is what it is, right? You know, when you have a child, it puts things into perspective. But like, I look around and I see people that I know. I'm like, you're not equipped to even think about that. Like, you're not. I can't help my entire neighborhood. Like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I mean,
we're all survivalists, man. I think we all have a general idea of if shit were to hit the fans, what we would need to do, what we would have to do.
Have you ever been like, okay, so I didn't spend a lot of time in this situation, but I was homeless for like 9 months. Like, and I mean, like, it was pretty bad. You know, I slipped outside a lot. Have you ever been in that situation?
I have, yeah.
I've definitely been homeless.
I've been homeless 3 times in my life, and you know, it fucking sucked. So yeah,
it sucks, but it'll teach you a lot about who you are. Like, you'll learn real quick. Like, what am I willing to do for me to survive or be comfortable, or whatever the situation ends up being? I mean, luckily, clearly you were able to pull yourself together, and I was able to do the same. But like, it could have easily gone the other direction, I would imagine, for either of us.
It's a fight or flight, man. You either fight for your own life, or you crumble and fall into that life.
Yeah. I'm so glad to be. I don't know. I don't preach this to anybody. People do whatever the fuck they want. It's up to them. But I'm so glad that I'm sober now. Like, and I'm not living like a sober life to where I'm like, I can never do a single thing in my life. I just choose not to. If I decided to have a margarita with my wife at dinner, I'll drink one. It's not like I'm straight edge or anything. I used to have a fucking problem, man. It was like, I mean, there's a reason why my band fell apart. It was on me. I fucked that all up. You know, I'm very well aware of that. It's nice to be able to be a little clear headed. Let's wrap this up on a positive note, though. I want to know 2 things. One, what are like your top 3 bands? Do you have a top bands that you just your go-tos, like your favorite bands of all time?
My top 3 right now, because it always changes.
Yeah, right now. Yeah.
It's always Monster Squad. That's always on my list. Starving Wolves too. I know we've already thrown their name out there a lot, but that new album just, man,
it's so really good.
So good. And
the opening to that is ridiculous.
Yeah. Shout out to those homies. And if I had to pick a third one, I'm gonna have to go with Career Soldiers, because I've always loved Career Soldiers.
Ooh, good pick. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. What about you, Jordan?
My picks, I mean, they'd be exactly the same as Jake's, honestly.
Let's go.
But I will shout out just what came to my head. I've been listening to this band a lot. They're not punk, they're a rock and roll band. They're kind of like the new Motorhead, but I think their name is Osmovel. I don't know how to pronounce it, but ASMOVEL, Osmovel, something like that.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, but they're sick, dude. They're just like a new Motorhead. Even their frontman, he plays bass.
Okay.
He used to play a Rickenbacker, but he has the fucking handlebar mustache, just like Lemmy. He sounds like him. So he stopped playing the Rickenbacker because he's like, everyone keeps saying I'm fucking Lemmy.
That's awesome. Okay, hold on one more time. Spell that out for me one more time. I'm gonna look it up on Spotify real quick.
I believe it's ASMOVEL.
Oh shit, you were dead on too. It absolutely is spelled like that. Oh yeah, dude. These dudes look like fucking Motorhead guys.
Yeah, dude, they're sick, man. They're fucking awesome.
Oh, we'll check those guys out today too, because I fuck with Motorhead pretty heavy.
Yeah, so that's what I was gonna say. Is Motorhead was a big one for me growing up. Before I got into punk rock, everything. I got into punk rock when I was like 12. So before that, it was like Metallica, Motorhead.
Oh yeah,
all
me
that
too.
Kind of shit.
Exactly the same thing. I was 14, but same thing. I went to go see Metallica in '96 at Lollapalooza, where they were actually, it was only like 10 bands. They were playing like full sets, and it was Metallica and Soundgarden. But before that, the original Ramones played, and then Rancid played, and that literally changed my whole life. Like I still have the Rancid shirt that I bought at that tour.
Hell yeah, dude. That's cool shit.
Yeah, dude. Like, that's my favorite band. Always will be. It never is gonna change. My top 2 will never change. Actually, my top 3 probably will never change. It's Rancid, Woman Army, and Born to Lose. It will never ever change. Now, like 4 through 10, it kind of just depends on what I'm listening to, but those three, I can listen to those bands. It doesn't matter. Like I can just wake up and it could be on, and I'll be like, "Fuck yeah, that's what I'm talking about." Like, but hell yeah, dude. So last thing before we go, do you have a relatively quick explanation? Like how did you guys discover punk rock music? Like what got you into punk?
Oh, okay. So Jordan was saying got into it when we were 12. We actually went to middle school together.
Yes.
And that was that age. And
That's awesome.
he was like the punk rock dude of our middle school, you know what I mean? There wasn't very many. There was a very small handful.
Yeah, typically a small number.
I was just like big into skateboarding at the time, didn't really know shit about shit. And the classic Tony Hawk games, and,
yes, bro.
And he was wearing a Casualty shirt one day, and I was like, "Hey man, nice Casualty shirt." And he's like, "Oh yeah, name 5 songs." And I did, and he was like, "No shit." Gave me a couple cigarettes in the stairwell.
Yes. You know what I mean? Let's hear it for Lucy's, dude. Let's hear it for cigarettes in high school, junior high.
Right. And so, it went from there, man. And we started going to shows together and shit. And we've known each other since then. And
it's basically the
that's so badass.
For me and my buddy Johnny Tucker, he moved into the neighborhood. And so we started skateboarding together and shit. And then we're on the bus one day on the way home, and we were being stupid kids on the bus, like moshing and shit in the seats. Yeah. And he stopped and he's like, "There's no way what you're listening to is that fast." And I was like, he was probably right. I was like, "Well, what are you listening to?" And he was listening to Clip 45. He gave me his earbud. And it was I was like, "Whoa, that's what I've been looking for." And I got off at his bus stop and went to his house, and fucking he showed me everything.
Dude, that's so awesome.
And he's still around too. He does.
Yeah,
he did that music video for us. He edited it.
What? Yep. What was his name again?
Johnny Tucker.
Dude, shout out Johnny Tucker for being bad motherfucker, bro.
Hell yeah.
Dude, that should be his name right there, dude. Bad motherfucker, Johnny Tucker. That's his name. You got to say it like a redneck too. Bad motherfucker, Johnny Tucker.
Oh yeah,
dude, that's awesome, man. Well, it has been an absolute pleasure. I'm super glad to know you guys now. And it's awesome that you guys have been friends for so long. I think that shit's rad, bro. I think we need more people that are just like friends, man. There's so many people that just want to be the guy. Like we got to be homies, man. Like it's a small world, dude. Like you only live one time.
Our bassist, today's actually his birthday.
Happy birthday, shit! Robbie. His name's Robbie.
Robbie, yep, Rob.
Dude, happy birthday, Robbie, dude. Fuck yeah, man. Dude, this has been a fun time, man. Hell yeah, what a great day. He's been our
friend 18 years now.
Let's go.
We've known him. So yeah, dude, all of us in Rotten Stitches, and I told you our drummer, he's been with us 11 years. And our rhythm guitarist is actually my brother.
What? That's awesome.
Yep.
Bro, dude, this has been a hell of a lot of fun talking to you guys, man. That's rad.
Same. Man, it's cool.
I will keep in touch with you guys, dude. I will stay watching your world grow. I'm listening to your music. I'm not gonna watch your music, but I'll listen to it. Just like watching it. What are these guys doing? Fucking, I can't hear anything. But yeah, man, that's awesome, dude. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for a while. I appreciate it, man. Anybody out there that's still watching with us, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, listen to their music, man. Go check out Rotten Stitches on Spotify. You guys have Bandcamp too?
It's not really up to date, but it's got a couple albums on it.
Okay. Well, I'll link that in there anyways, and I'll link the Instagram, Bandcamp, Spotify. Go check these guys out, support them. If they come to your town, go fucking see them play live. If you guys come anywhere near Houston, I'll be there. Yeah, dude, I'll stay in touch, man. If you guys ever need anything I can help with, be it fucking, I don't know, promotion stuff or I don't know, any kind of label stuff, just let me know, man. I'm down to help out in any way that I can, bro. If you ever need to talk about something or got questions or want to jump on here and shout something out, let me know. I'm always down.
Thank you.
Hell yeah, man. Well, you guys have a great day, man. You said Robbie was his name, right?
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Robbie, dude, out there fucking having a great day, man. I hope you have an awesome day. And yeah, until next time, fellas, y'all have a great one.
Thanks, man. You too. Thanks for having us.
Dudes. Hell yeah, man. Later, guys.
Later.